Different Branches of Biology by Haley Wingo. Immunology. Immunology is the study of how the body fights off any substances that are physical threat to well-being. It deals with the defense of mechanisms including all physical, chemical, and biological properties of the organism that help it to combat its susceptibility to foreign organisms and materials, etc. Any time the world of immunology makes a new discovery, we've become healthier as a society. If we understand how the body responds and fights off an illness, we can help find ways that we can help fight these illnesses, like with vaccinations. Currently, one question facing immunology is HIV. HIV has no cure, only treatments, and immunologists are working to find out how to fortify the immune system to cure this disease. And this is one example of a way that science is not really able to fully answer that question. And immunologists really are the only people that could answer how can we fortify the body to stop HIV. And there are some ways that they've already done that by medications that can actually prevent the ability to actually contract HIV for people who are at risk. So, this is one way that immunology has really given an answer to people for HIV that science really hasn't been able to fully answer yet. Microbiology. Microbiology is the study of all microorganisms, like bacteria and viruses. Currently, there are many illnesses that are caused by microorganisms. Further advancement of microbiology will lead to stopping illnesses to organisms before they occur. For example, how to stop bacteria from contaminating food in impoverished nations. One question that microbiology was looking to answer that science cannot is testing food safety. Microbiology will be able to recognize new pathogens and participate in food safety monitoring and bioterrorism surveillance. So, right now, currently, there are bacteria that are damaging food in impoverished nations, and there has to be a way to test these bacteria and these viruses and anything that's actually harming the food. And microbiology really can give an answer to what is damaging the food. And this actually can play into immunology as well, deciding how to actually treat these issues. So both of these together really do work to keep food safe and also to keep people safe in a lot of cases. Neurobiology. Neurobiology is concerned with uncovering the biological mechanisms by which nervous systems mediate behavior. Over the past half century, much of the neurobiology has focused on the cells of the nervous system. Neurobiology can, in the future, could offer cures for many diseases that affect the brain. Any advancement in this field can lead to improving the quality and longevity of life for those who suffer from these illnesses. Neurobiology can offer answers to how to stop and treat epilepsy, since it's important when understanding of the detailed pathophysiology and thus treatment rationale for much of epilepsy. So, epilepsy is a seizure disorder, and currently there are multiple treatments for epilepsy, and scientists and neurobiology really are working to even cure epilepsy. There are surgeries now that even removing a piece of tissue of the brain could actually stop seizures. So they're definitely the ones who are giving answers to a cure for something that can even be fatal for human beings. So this is a very important area of science. Nick Lane is an evolutionary biochemist whose main question is how complex cells arose from bacteria. I believe his hypothesis is that one cell jumped into another cell, and that is where the black hole where evolution started. He states that it is his hypothesis because he previously negates the last scientist's theory and states the phrase, it looks like this, and I'll explain more about this. One way his hypothesis is supported is that there is clear evidence that all evolution has a common origin. However, what does negate his hypothesis is that it is illogical to assume that one bacteria is responsible for all evolution, and that it is logical to assume that bacteria that respond like plants for photosynthesis would be the origin of plants to begin with, for example. So it is. There are definitely information about how one one bacteria could be the origin for evolution. However, it is a little bit illogical to assume that only one bacteria really caused evolution as a whole, especially when there are bacteria that reacted to photosynthesis, and that is the exactly what plants are acting like. So it would be logical to assume that, hey, this bacteria that has photosynthesis probably is the origin for plants. So there's two different sides to this argument. Scientific method. Observe and question. Speech pathologists seem to do a lot of work. I wonder if my future career choice as a speech pathologist would make enough money. I will look at the amount of work a speech pathologist on average do during the week and how much school is required for this degree. Formulate hypothesis. I think that my future career choice as a speech pathologist does not make enough money. Part 2. Testing the hypothesis. I will look at current advertisement for speech pathologists and see if they match other medical professionals' salary. Analyze and conclude. Speech pathologists on average make less money than other medical professionals for the same amount of work. Share the result. Speech pathologists do not make enough money for the amount of work they do. So, this whole thing started really just because I was very concerned and observed that, hey, speech pathologists are medical professionals, even with just a master's degree, and they are doing a lot of work and spending hours and hours with patients and are required to have a vast amount of knowledge. And I assumed, like, hey, they should be getting paid very high salaries. And I said there are other medical professionals that do things similar to speech pathologists, and decided to look there specifically for answers and found that, in fact, speech pathologists are making less for the amount of work and knowledge that they have in their careers. And these are my wonderful citations. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching. I hope it was enjoyable. Thank you and have a great day.